Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school. From my experience.
Do you think race is playing a role in this case, and do you think race will play a role in the outcome of this case?
I will say this. I do not know that race played a role, but I do not know race did not play a role.
His son done got killed, and they pushing racism. This is the thing that bothers me. Like, we don't know what happened. They don't know what happened. They're doing an investigation. There was black kids there with him too. Why y'all act like y'all not even talking about the black kids, just the white ones? I got to tell you guys about Verdict Bourbon. You know, it's a bourbon that's smooth, it's full of character, absolutely incredible. We've had people try it, review it, and the feedback has been incredibly amazing. So if you go with Not Guilty, you have the smooth sweetness that people love, and Guilty brings the bold, classic bourbon character. So all you got to do is go to verdictbourbon.com, and you got to plead your age, face the verdict, and find out if you're guilty or not guilty. You must be 21 and over, and make sure you drink responsibly. Don't be a dummy. All right, let's get to the young boy, Nolan Wells, and his coach. Like I'm telling you, let me just frame this real quick as we get into this. I am getting more and more upset with Nolan's parents and these activists. I'm getting more and more upset, because I feel like that they're doing this young man a disservice by pushing racism where it's not necessary. And there is no reason for you to be trying to have justice in a criminal proceeding for you to have a civil rights attorney represent you. You need to have a criminal law attorney representing you. That's like me going and somebody slipping and falling at my headquarters, and I go hire a criminal attorney. A criminal defense attorney. Why would I need a criminal defense attorney if I'm dealing with a civil matter? If you want justice in a criminal justice system, which is somebody that's going to hold people accountable once they're arrested, if they did an investigation, true or false, whatever the case may be, you need a criminal defense attorney. Why would you get a civil rights attorney? You're not just getting a civil attorney, you're getting a civil rights attorney. Listen to the black coach and what he said about what happened. Roll it.
So, Tracy, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was still in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had a conversation that was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the detail that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
What can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get-along type guy?
He's more of a get-along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself, but I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was drinking and that there was a riptide that day and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. Knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from my experience, because you have, predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. Now, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see, so, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
And why interject race before you get any information? To me, let me just say this, and I know people gonna clip this and and I don't care. I really feel this way. I'm getting sick of black people, right? I like the black people like me and others that are conservative, that's smart, but the rest of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. It's hard to even want to be around black people, to be honest, because you try to give them a pass. You try to be nice. You try to say, not every black person's like this. Yeah, no, people on TMZ ain't like this. Oh, man, this person ain't like this. This person, man, they son done got killed, and they pushing racism. This is the thing that bothers me. Like, we don't know what happened. They don't know what happened. They're doing an investigation. There was black kids there with him, too. Why y'all act like y'all not even talking about the black kids, just the white ones? And then you got these people on here. Al Sharpton been pimping for I don't know how long. Y'all, that's why when black people make money, they move away from black people. They move to white neighborhoods. Let's keep it real. Y'all don't want to hear me say it, but I'm saying it. Where does LeBron live? They live where white people live. That coach just said, yeah, there's black kids. It's an all-white school. Everybody getting along. That's what happens at these white schools. White folks ain't worried about y'all like that. They doing their own thing. Every single white environment that I've been involved in, and ain't no drama. Nobody shooting, nobody stabbing, nobody hating on you, nobody doing none of that. White people doing their own thing. You put a bunch of black people together and they acting a fool. And I'm not saying it's every black person, but it seems like it's more prevalent than it is not. And I'm tired of it. Let's play this Al Sharpton crap that this fool doing. This is why people don't like black people. Even the girl that's talking on here. Like, when are y'all gonna get a better mind? This is such low energy, low vibration stuff. This is why black people are down here in society. Because our minds are down here. Everybody else's minds is just up here, thinking of greater things, thinking about how they're gonna take advantage of the American dream, and they're not pushing racism every day. They're trying to unite with people. They're building companies and businesses, and their kids are going to school and getting educated. Even the Africans that come over here, they believe in education and doing what's right and getting married and all this high vibration stuff. And y'all still down here, the white man. Roll the clip.
What more evidence do you think is needed for the sheriffs and the investigators to say that there is suspected foul play in this case?
I think that the evidence that is needed to build on is already there. Have they brought these three young men in for questioning under oath? Have they gone through a search of fingerprints and other things on the cell phone? Either they are doing policing or they're doing covering up. And that is why Ben Crump and Nash X Network and I got involved. The real unfortunate part is with this present administration in Washington, Donald Trump, you can't even say, as we've said historically, whether it was from Abner Louima in the 90s to George Floyd a couple of years ago, we'll go get the feds. You can't get this Justice Department. What we can do, though, is go to state court and sue and depose these young men on what they were doing. So there's going to be a legal strategy that Ben Crump, who's the best at it, will do. I'm going to continue to stand with the family and mobilize people around the country so that this does not go off the minds of the American public.
Now, think to yourself, why are they attaching themselves to this case specifically? There's young black people that die every single day in this country, and many of them in violent ways. But they find ones that they can make money on. There's no evidence of foul play. And even if there was foul play, how do you figure it's got to do with race? Oh, because they're white people, and so they're evil. Come on, roll the clip.
Do you think race is playing a role in this case, and do you think race
will
play a role in the outcome of this case?
I will say this. I do not know that race played a role, but I do not know race did not play a role. So I think you've got to put all of that on the table. How does anybody say that, oh, no, race played no role unless you know the three guys, and the three guys were forthcoming I certainly think you got to look at the possibility of racism at different levels. One, were any of the three guys racist? All right. Two, were the prosecutors and the enforcement when the body was found? Is there a racial double standard there? Many of us feel if there were three black guys and a white kid was missing, they would have held them probably in custody and certainly had them seriously under scrutiny on if it was the reverse, in our opinion. But the family has said they don't want to say race, but they don't want it taken off the table. How do we know, particularly when you have a sheriff saying there was no foul play?
The sheriff did not declare there was no foul play. The sheriff claimed that there's no evidence of foul play at this point. I don't know why mindless people can't put these things together. There's a difference between no foul play, meaning that they made a determination that the crime is over. They're investigating. If they find a body in the water, they can't just start arresting people. It looked like he drowned. They did an autopsy. It looked like there's no blunt force trauma or none of those other things. If the family got his body, they can do an autopsy. They're not trying to keep the body from the family. What? All right, we got a couple more clips. Roll it.
I am beginning to see a pattern. And I think that I hear parents in National Action Network, I hear parents that call my radio show saying, I'm telling my kids, don't go out with other people. I mean, people are just naturally becoming very apprehensive. And we shouldn't have to live like this. And unless there is a signal sent from the justice system that do some real justice in these cases, they will only intensify people's fear of even having social.
All right. I got to get on to the next story. But first and foremost, these people are evil. I want you to understand that these people are evil. George Floyd got swift justice. Why are they invoking the name of George Floyd? Zimmerman was under arrest until he was found not guilty in the court of law. I mean, you go down a list. Who are you naming that didn't get justice? And then you're just presuming that because people are white, they can't do an investigation. They can't be impartial. And then you talking about, I talked to a bunch of black people. That's why black people ain't never gonna be nothing, generally speaking, with this mentality. I talked to black people, they saying don't let their kids go with white people. That's what he said. I don't want my kids going with white people. Now, let a white person get on TV and say, I don't want my kids going with black people. Y'all,